Do you have a kid? How many kids do you have? If you do, are you thinking of having children? Do you have? If you do you have one? Do you have two? Do you have three? We thought we should talk about this because this is a conversation that has been coming up lately as we see our friends popping out some kids. We're in our 30s, so we're seeing a lot of this happen in the last few years, and there's been. It's quite interesting to see the difference and the change in responsibility and how things change drastically when you go from one child to two kids. And we've been through it. It is so different.
Night and day different.
Oh, it's crazy. And I don't think anybody really told me that beforehand. Did they tell you?
Yeah. I think I was
Really?
forewarned, but I guess it also depends the age gap between the kids, or not necessarily.
It depends.
But one kid has its challenges, right? You're going from a newlywed couple like us, right? We were only together for about 2 years before.
And you focus on each other.
Focus on each other.
Yep.
Life is good. You can pick up and go whenever you want, even while pregnant, go here, go there. And then next thing you know, boom, you have a kid and it's a whole new lifestyle.
And it feels very overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. It can be stressful at times. Some women go through postpartum depression. There's hormonal changes, body changes. There's baby you got to take care of, sleep disruption. So many new adjustments to be made. And then you finally get into a rhythm. You're getting into a nice routine. Things are working out well. And then the conversations may or may not start, depends on the couple, about whether to have number two. We decided when Sia was 8 months old to conceive, and we were lucky. We conceived on the first try, and we don't regret it at all. We wanted to have the children as close as possible in age, not to have a huge age gap, especially that we were having our kids in our 30s.
And now we have two kids under 3, but nobody could prepare you to have the second kid.
No.
It's look, we're just gonna be real. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. I don't care.
Yeah, we gotta keep in mind, Sia was 17 months when I gave birth to Maya.
So we had a year and a half old basically and had another kid. And let me tell you, it is insane. And then when you go back, and you can relate, those of you who can relate to this, when you go back to one, don't you find it so much easier?
Oh, so easy having just one. It happened to us a couple of times this year where
what a joke.
We would have just Sia or Maya and be like, wow, this is like having one kid. It's a piece of cake. How come we didn't feel like this when we actually only just had one?
Because it's all you know, right? In life, you like you said, you're married, you're in a relationship and you have each other, and then the one comes along, you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm not sleeping.
All your attention revolves around the baby and making sure they're okay, and you're attending to all their needs, right? And then you have number two.
Wow, it is crazy.
And you just always hope the number two is a good baby, a good sleeper, a good eater, not colicky. You pray for all of the above so that it makes life easier at home with a baby. We'll still refer to Sia as a baby because she was only 18 months at the time.
Yeah, I was joking with a friend the other day who also has 2 kids, and we were saying that, he goes, in your house, does it ever feel like so chaotic?
Yeah.
He's like, everyone's yelling and screaming. It feels like a war. I'm like, 100%.
Yeah, of course.
Probably 7 days a week, right before supper. Right before supper.
I even drink supper, and sometimes even after supper.
Like between 4 and 7, it is
rock and roll.
Yeah, it is insanity in our house. It is crazy. The yelling, the screaming.
You're not even here in the morning.
No, I know, and I know I'm on here. I'm here on the weekends.
And sometimes when I just have the girls, like from 6:30, like by the time they wake up, 6:30, whatever, till the time I bring Sia to daycare, it's like, I wish you were home just to witness what I go through 5 days a week.
Yeah, but then I am home on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm in the way.
There's nowhere to go. Yeah, you are in the way, but it's okay.
The routine.
You ruined the routine that they got accustomed to for 5 days, but still, it's like always chaotic and rushing to get them ready and fed, and then next thing you know, you're about to walk out the door and one of them poops, and you gotta like change them.
Look, we know we almost sound negative to a certain degree, but we're bringing this up because
it's reality.
Yeah, it's reality, and those of you who are listening to this episode or watching or whatever, you need to understand what comes with the territory of having first, number one, a kid, which is a huge responsibility. Everybody knows how much kids of a responsibility they are,
whether they're good or bad.
Yeah, but when number 2 comes along, holy shit! Especially if they're close in age, because then it feels insane. Because now, like you said, our daughter was 1.5 years, so they're not. Man, even there's a difference. She's 2.5 now, and she's way more independent.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a game changer. So those of you who had kids, had like maybe a 3-year-old, and then you had another one. I can't say it was probably easier, But
No,
at least
challenges with every
there's
age
different
gap.
types of challenges. But just to go through to see sometimes, like we did renovations, and we have a 14-month like crawling around, and the other one gets home from daycare, and she's hungry and tired, and
And cranky and moody.
It's
and everything a
insanity.
girl is at times.
it's insanity. Like how we even have time to do these podcasts. Like I guess we just find time when
We do.
when-
Nap times and when they go to bed.
Yeah, or when Sia's at daycare. Like that's what we're doing right now, and we're hoping our youngest doesn't wake up.
That she stays asleep. Got the monitor right next to me.
But we just wanted to kind of give you that little,
Don't get us wrong. It's great to
it's
have
beautiful.
one child, two children, 3,
Siblings.
4, whatever, siblings. That's something I never experienced. I'm
Yeah.
an only child. You come from a family of 3.
Yeah.
I always knew it was important for us to give Sia a sibling, God willing, and it did happen. So I don't regret having them so close in age too. So that they can hopefully grow up together. I always tell Sia, because she's older, I said, I gave you a friend for life. I said, Mommy didn't have any brothers
Don't
or
screw it
sisters. Don't screw this up. I gave you a friend for life. You're only 17 months apart. Grow up as sisters. Grow up as twins. Grow up as friends. Grow up and be good to each other. And I will tell Maya the same thing when she understands. So, it's, but it has been challenging a lot
time.
for us. Especially, like I said, Maya was 2 months old when the pandemic struck, and Sia was still home, and there was no... we didn't know what to do, and
I know
it was
drove us
tough.
crazy, and
It was
now
crazy.
our youngest is like used to everybody in masks, which is so freaking sad. It's like
It's true.
she's so used to it. So for a little while now, when she sees other family members or close friends who are in front of the house, whatever, she's like, "Who the hell?" You can tell she's crying, and she's who's that? She's better. She's better.
I find the last
But
few
it was
months,
bad at one point.
Yeah, it was bad because she was younger and she was also going through like an attachment phase, and she only wants to be with mom and dad.
Yeah.
So that's kind of also part of the normal stages of baby growing up and development.
Yeah.
But now she'll see someone with a mask, even when I wear a mask, when I bring Sia to daycare, and
She's
she
better.
doesn't try to pull it off, and
Thank God.
she's getting very used to it.
Now-
Unfortunately, but fortunately, because of the
Of course.
situation, other people I know, their children are petrified of seeing
Yeah.
others in masks. Still
Yeah.
haven't gotten used to that,
Yeah.
and that poses challenges also.
Now we talked about going from 1 to 2, and let's have a conversation about going from 2 to 3, or from 3 to 4. And if I know there's a few people who listen to this podcast, we've gotten messages who have 3 kids, and there are people who we've talked to, and we seem to ask the people who have 3 children, and we say, "Do we go for it?" And they're like, "Absolutely."
Everybody we know that has 3 kids always
Right?
says, "Go for it."
They say, "Well, if you get to 2, just go for 3." And I'm like, "What?"
But technically, they're saying go for it because they're kind of in that situation. They decided to go for 3. They thought it was right for them, for their family, for their lifestyle, for their whatever reason.
It works.
It works for them, but it doesn't always work. A lot of people are content even just with 1.
Yeah.
Some people are happy just with 2. They call it, the nuclear family, mom, dad with the 2 kids. Or parents with the 2 kids. It's easier. What do you say? 4 packs.
Yeah,
when you
'cause
go on vacation,
course.
it's the parents and 2 kids.
In your
and
car.
Your
Everything
car.
just seems simpler at a
Everything's-
restaurant. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
of course. Then 3 and 4 come along, and things
Yeah.
get more expensive and more complicated. Bigger cars, and
I just got anxiety thinking right now because and we're going to be transparent here. Tina is a little more pushing for 3rd, maybe not
at
the
times,
second,
not the second, yeah,
but
no.
eventually. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like 2 is insane. Okay, and then your argument is not always going to be like this, right? It's going to eventually kind of change.
And you know that too, because you were saying it yourself.
Fine.
It may seem like so chaotic and stressful, especially between, we say, that 4 and 8.
I love our
4
kids,
and 8
but-
p.m. It's a hard time to deal with their bedtime routine and feeding them and this and that.
But you're thinking a few years.
But I'm thinking a few years down the line, or even like when they're 10 and 15 years old and older, it's like, we're gonna have let's say if we have 3 kids, there's going to come a time we're never going to have 3 kids in the house. They're going to be out and about with their friends and at school.
Nice. You just hit your
sorry.
water bottle. It's okay. You caught it.
Sorry.
Is it closed?
My hands fly. Yes, my hands fly when I
Of
talk.
course,
So
you're
when I get
Italian. Your
passionate.
hands are flying everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you haven't slapped me yet by accident. But yes, it makes sense what you're saying. I get it.
What I mean,
but
so-
still, it
In
just.
the moment, it feels chaotic because they're so little.
How did you make that decision to jump to a 3rd? Was it easy? Was it difficult? Was it an accident?
Sometimes it's an accident, yeah.
I always,
Sometimes even number 4 comes as an accident.
yeah. I always joke with Tina. I'm like, you're gonna trick me, aren't you?
I would never
Are
do
you going
that.
to trick me?
That is not something we trick with. That is something. No, you know what I don't appreciate is when you ask me. Every time I say, let's go for a third, or when I've mentioned, let's go for a third, and you ask me, give me the pros and cons. Make a list. And you hate when I make lists.
I hate lists.
I make mental lists. I make written lists. I guess.
I try to see what the good, like, tell me what the good is. Okay, yeah, having another kid, that's great.
Yeah, that's first and foremost. That's number one. So it doesn't matter what all the cons or the pros are underneath. It's either you decide to have number 3. You don't want someone to, let's say we do have number 3 one day. You don't want them to turn around and feel like, oh, mom and dad had a debate about whether or not they should have me.
I'm number 3. I'm sure my dad didn't even want me.
I know, and how sad your mom had to convince him.
Well, I don't. Did she say that? She just said,
no.
Like,
you make it sound like your mom said she
goes, I made it clear to your father that I wanted a third, and it was pretty much set in stone that I had
your
to have
dad
another
was
one.
so easygoing and would have gone with
he
anything.
was never home. He was like, when we were young, he was
never home because he was providing for 3 kids.
But still, like, anyway, I know.
I know, it's like either we decide that we want it or we don't. You never, with Maya, it wasn't even a hesitation. With Sia, it was no hesitation. Let's go ahead and try for Sia. And she came, and then we said, okay, let's give her a sibling if possible. And it happened. Why is it that when it comes to number 3 or number 4, every couple has a debate? And I know other people too who have spent 5 years. I know one girl, 5 years it took her to try to convince her husband to have number 3, and finally had it. And there's a huge age gap between her 2 eldest and her baby.
I have anxiety. I have anxiety talking about it. Just the craziness, the money.
Yes, the craziness and the
stress,
money. Yeah. Because that's how we feel now.
The space.
It won't always be like that.
I'm like 37 years old. You want me to start?
I'm 35. Clearly, I'm no spring chicken either.
We're not even old for kids anymore. Like, this is kind of normal.
Biologically, physiologically, we are.
Well, because 35, things change, no?
Well, not even that. Down. If you think back historically, women were done having all their kids by 25 because that's how
your
life
biological
was.
Clock is ticking,
like Marissa Tomei, my cousin Vinny. So yes, but women obviously can have kids well into their 40s. I even know a woman who had a kid in her 50s. So it's possible at any age, but women, obviously, we have a clock. Men don't.
No, I know. My dad had me I was 56, I think.
He was 56, yeah. And you're 37.
Yeah, but still, I'm like, well, we got 2 beautiful kids, and we're very lucky.
Yeah, we're very lucky. Not with their healthy.
We know having children is not the easiest thing. And like, Tina's parents had trouble conceiving before you,
and
after
miscarriages,
you,
and
they had all kinds of issues.
And the tests, and all the everything they went through to try to have me. 5 years it took them to try to have me.
Yeah, if you've been through that or you're going through that, honestly, we totally don't want to sound disrespectful when we talk about having a second kid.
No, not at all. We're just talking about our situation.
Yeah, and we just feel that there's other couples in the same situation as us, and we just, I guess I'm curious to know. I always think, what's going to happen in a year from now?
I'm saying some women. I know some women who would say, I don't want more kids after one because they either had a terrible pregnancy, a traumatic delivery, or whatnot, and there's nothing that their partner can say or do to convince them to have another one and to go through that scare again, or the potential scare of having an awful pregnancy or an awful delivery. Knock on wood, I had 2 great pregnancies, and honestly, I loved being pregnant. Maybe not towards the end.
You did?
I did. Because
you look like you were complaining all the time.
No, I wasn't. I would complain when I wouldn't feel them.
Fine, which is understandable. Yeah. But you were always...
I loved being pregnant. I did. But a lot more challenging being pregnant 9 months with a 17-month-old at home. That, too, was another big problem.
What about the days where you're like, fuck this shit. I'm fucking fed up.
Those maybe happen once in a while.
They definitely happen.
No, it was more like when I had to get in and out of bed, on and off the couch. Wait. No, I'm being honest. And all the times I felt really hungry and could never satisfy my hunger.
I love being pregnant crap.
Did.
I know you used to say you hated it.
No.
Was it Sia's pregnancy?
Maybe more Maya's because Sia was still a baby and I was tired all the time. I was running after her. Because she was a baby and going to swimming lessons and going to play dates and this and that. It was very tiring, my pregnancy with Maya, because Sia was 15, 16, 17 months at the time. But when I was pregnant with Sia, it was great. I spent, how much time did I spend in the basement watching the World Cup? I
don't know. I just have these memories of you complaining and bitching. Maybe that's the only things that stick in my head.
No, thanks, babe. I had it.
You had a great birth.
great pregnancies and great births.
You're very lucky for that.
We are, and then sometimes I think, if we try for number 3, is my experience going to be the complete opposite? Have a terrible pregnancy, have a terrible delivery. I don't know, but I guess it's a risk you take, regardless of whether you're having your first or your 10th. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I always think like we have 2. And again, maybe I'm just conveying messages that go through, I think, a lot of parents' heads or new parents to be, is like, we have 2 healthy kids and everything's fine.
Yeah.
What if we end up going for the 3rd and something's wrong with this child,
physically, mentally,
and it changes
the whole dynamic of the family.
Dynamic of maybe it's a selfish way of thinking. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking what other parents
that could have happened with child number 1.
Yeah, you're right. I know.
It could happen with any.
But then again, the argument you can say everything in life is a risk. Us getting married is a risk. Buying this house is a risk. Having 1 kid, having 2 kids,
or having no kids. Everything is. You don't know what the future holds.
Anyway,
and even those couples who are trying to conceive, continue conceive.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. Just have fun.
Just get drunk and have sex.
Oh, seriously, yeah, get drunk. That'll work. Eat lots of chocolate. Have some Coke. Weren't you once told drink Coke if you want to try to have a boy?
And I didn't listen.
No, you didn't. Then you had 2 girls. Yeah.
2.
Don't ever give up trying or having fun trying.
2 psychics said that we were gonna have 3 kids. 2 psychics told me that in the last 5 years.
Remember when I would do the necklace on my wrists and stuff? It always said 3 kids. It still says 3 kids.
Does it really?
Yep.
You haven't done that old thing in a while.
No, that's what you think.
When did you do it lately?
Doesn't matter.
What the fuck? You do it behind my back?
Yeah. What do you need to be there for?
When did you do it?
Maybe a month ago.
So Tina does this thing where she puts the necklace that hangs over the wrist?
Hangs over the wrist to see how many kids you're supposed to have.
So at one point she was doing it with all my friends' wives and
a lot of the times I was right. And it predicted
wrong.
the sex and the number of children that they were going to have. And other times, yes, I was wrong. And I'm sure a lot of my colleagues, if they're listening right now, will be like, Tina, you were wrong about determining the sex of my kid.
Can't believe you're doing that shit behind my back because you know I make fun of you, eh?
Yeah. And so do a lot of other people. It's like when we talk about Malakio.
Yeah, now I'm starting to believe in that. I didn't before, but I feel like lately, I don't know, I've been getting these weird headaches and stuff. And I don't know if there's people with little voodoo dolls and they're casting spells on me and shit. I mean, whatever.
That's a whole other topic.
It is
maybe.
what it is. Sometimes I think it's because I'm more out there online. And the more you put yourself out there, the more chances that you're going to have, I don't say the haters or is it I'm not sure what it is. Jealousy, maybe. I don't know what it is. I mean, we all kind of go through that, or I don't know, or it's all in our heads.
It could be.
I don't know what it is. Anyways, whatever.
So if you do have 3 kids, please write to us. Let us know the pros and cons of having 3, and what is the age gap between your children. Or what is the age gap between your 2 kids or your 3 kids or your 4 kids? Would you recommend them being closer in age or having like a 3, 4 or plus years age gap? No? Let us know. What do you what was life like? What is life like with 3 kids?
Chaotic.
Chaotic, I'm sure, but also more love in the house.
Yeah, be honest.
More children
too.
to love, to kiss, to hug, to nurture, to take care of, to.
And be honest. Don't beat around the bush.
And 1,000%, we know that there are days when you just want to rip all your hair out.
Of course, happens every day in our house.
Whether you have 1 kid or 10 kids, or even if you don't have any kids and you're trying, I can understand how some days can really be stressful, tiring, make you sad.
Yeah, we're really selling parenting, aren't we? For those who don't have kids. No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
They're beautiful. It's great. No, I'm joking. We love our kids.
When they start saying Dada.
I know.
And Mommy.
I have it good. But if you do have a family and you're looking for a little convenience in your life, then why not order steak bleu? Why not have meat delivered right to your door that you can just slap on the barbecue or slap in the oven? I mean, it makes your life simpler, or the crock pot, of course. So many different ways to cook, so many different meats, so many different cuts of meat, and you can customize your own box right now. It's a new option that they have. You can check them out, steakbleu.ca. Enter FAST10 at checkout. They'll knock off 10%. You can check them out on Instagram, too, at Steak Bleu. Is our kid still sleeping, by the way?
Yeah, she is. Let's keep it that way.
She's been sleeping well. We don't want to jinx it.
Why don't we go make number 3? Shh. Come. Let's go.
Really?
Make number 3.
Okay. What? No, I mean, sorry. Practice makes perfect.
It does.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll let you go now because we're apparently going to go make number 3. We're not actually going to. Not now. You're joking, right?
Yes, I'm joking.
Okay.
Or am I?
Sorry, I just got a heart attack. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening and watching. Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.